Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Emma Cunnington and I am a woodwind tutor who specialises in clarinet, saxophone and flute. Today's video is going to be on how to set up your saxophone and how to set up the reed, the mouthpiece, etc. So we're going to start with the reed and the mouthpiece so that you can set it aside, ready to put on your saxophone neck and then later the saxophone. First thing, reed. As soon as you get it, you need to stick it in your mouth. Do this for about 10 seconds or so. Now I do this so that when the reed goes on here, it's kind of got something to kind of stick it to the mouthpiece, and it also gets the fibres ready for you to kind of blow down. And if we did this without wetting the reed, you'd find you'd squeak a lot and it'd sound a little bit airy. It wouldn't quite sound like a full sound. So we've wet the reed. Next step. You're going to stick it on the mouthpiece. Now you'll notice I'm holding everything by the bottom here. We don't touch the top of the reed because it's a little bit thinner. You can see that because the fibres are a little bit more see-through with the light. You might be able to see there. So touching the bottom, you're going to stick your reed on the mouthpiece. Now the mouthpiece itself is flat, so it should fit flush. And you're going to line it up. So again, touching the bottom, you need to allow for a tiny bit of black at the top. So a little bit of black, maybe just less than a millimetre, maybe even a hair's width of black, and ensuring that it's all in the centre of the reed at the bottom, or the centre of the mouthpiece at the bottom. So it's all centred and a little bit of black at the top. Once you've got that, you're going to grab your ligature. Now I'm going to do this first with your bog standard stock ligature that was mentioned in other videos. So you're going to make sure that it's loosened off first before you even attempt to put it on. So loosen off those screws. You're then going to very carefully put it over the mouthpiece. Now, make sure the screws are facing your nose or facing you. So making sure not to touch that reed at the top. So when you're holding it, touch it on the flat edge, but definitely not on there because it may break. Then you won't be able to get a sound out. So the reed may move whilst you're doing this, but you need to be aiming to get about 1 millimetre of that waxy wood above that ligature, as you can see here, and that your ligature is in the centre of the reed, so I need to adjust mine and go over slightly. So your reed might have moved, so you might need to push it up upwards, so use your thumb or push it side to side just to help line it up. Once you've done that, tighten up the screws equally in equal stages, and you do this until it feels firm or starts to get a bit firmer to tighten up. You don't want it to be too tight, you don't want it to be too loose either, so until you feel a firmness, a bit of a resistance. So that is your ligature set up with your reed. It should make a nice little duck sound like that. Now we're going to try that with one of the other ligatures, but I'll just show you how to undo all that. You're going to undo your screws, very delicately take off the ligature, make sure not to touch the top of it, stick that aside, take your reed off, take it off from the bottom, stick it in its case that you might have got with it when you got the reed. I've got one here, ensuring not to touch that top again, just slide it in. At this point, if you've finished playing, you might want to put a pull through your mouthpiece or something just to clean it, just to make sure there's no build up of anything nasty. So, same process with the other ligature. You've wet your reed already, you're ready to put it on. Same process before, line it up to get that bit of black, the small bit of black, and then grab your ligature. I'm going to show you with my flex ligature. It's the same as kind of these fabric ones you'd see on other saxophones. So you loosen it off a little bit. And this is where it's really important. You need to put the screw facing upwards to the right. Now your reed may move whilst you're pushing it down, very carefully of course. That's okay. You may need to push the reed up. So in this situation, I've got too much black at the top. I'm going to push it up slightly. Oh, that's too much. I need to push it down and to the side. I need to make sure that your screw is kind of in the middle of the mouthpiece. I've nearly got it spot on here, I'd say. Just slightly over. And again, that 1 millimetre of kind of waxiness needs to be there with that tiny bit of black at the top, as you can see. You're then going to tighten up your mouthpiece until it feels firm again, but not too tight. And you'll get a sound again. similar kind of sound, that duck kind of sound. So I'd leave that to the side once you've done that. Let's talk about the saxophone itself. Let's put it together. Okay, so we're going to put together the saxophone. Now, when you get it out of this case, you may be tempted just to grab it by the body. Try and grab it by the bell. This is the bit that has barely any keys on it. So grab it by the bell out of the case so that you've got something that can't be damaged, say if you accidentally slip. So grab it by the bell. I would then, if you've got a neck strap, click it onto your neck strap. So that little thing at the back. I'm not going to do it just yet, but you could do it if you've got a neck strap. Now, you may have a little thing on the top. Some of them are just little kind of, they just go into about there. But mine, as you might see in another video, is a pad saver. Take that out, otherwise you won't get very much sound out of it. And you're going to unscrew this little screw at the top. Now, at this point, you've got your neck strap, just leave it for a moment or put it to one side. When you put your saxophone down, aim for it not to be resting on these palm keys. You don't want to damage these at all, so put it down, just be rather gentle with it. So, this is the neck, also known as the crook. You're going to grab it, ensuring to keep that bit of mechanism kind of safe. We don't want to be holding it like this so that you could accidentally sprain it. You want to grasp it in kind of our hands so that it's nice and safe. You're then going to grab your mouthpiece, ensuring you don't touch that top of it. Grasp it like this, ensuring that top is nowhere near any fingers. And you're going to gently wiggle it on. You're going to aim for just a little bit of cork at the top, because this is how you tune. If you get too sharp, as your teacher might mention, they'll ask you to pull your mouthpiece off. So you need to make sure it's already on properly or to a good extent in the first place. And you're going to want to line your reed up with the middle of your crook, your neck. I've got a line on mine, so it's nice and easy. Just line up with the middle. Then here comes the big bit, putting together the saxophone itself. You're going to grab your saxophone and your neck and put them together. So you've unscrewed this. You're then going to jiggle this one in. Again, just being careful with that mechanism at the top. And usually saxophones have a little bit of a way to help you line this up. It's a little bit more complicated than perhaps the clarinets. You have a little kind of little sticky outy bit here. This needs to be in line with the groove in your neck or of the middle of the neck. So you'll see it move if I do this. That little bit there needs to be in line with this. Once that's in line, you're going to tighten it just until, again, it feels firm but not too tight. And that is your saxophone put together, ready to play. Ensure it's on your neck strap. You don't want to drop it unintentionally and end up with a dint in your saxophone. So that is setting up your saxophone in a video. So this last little bit is just a few hints and tips for putting away your saxophone. So you've played, you've sorted it all out, it's time to put it away. So with your neck strap still on, what I would do is take off the top first. So unscrew it, give it a little jiggle, be careful of that mechanism again. So a little jiggle, put that to a side, ensuring that you don't accidentally jam that reed. You don't want it to break. I would then have a look at the body of your saxophone. You may have a pull through that you may use to pull through the saxophone. If you do have one, just ensure that when you dangle it into the saxophone that it's not wrapped around any of the keys. I have got one handy which I can show you just in case. You may have one or both of the ones which I am using today, but one of these, similar to the ones you get in bass clarinets, is one that you could be given. So I dangle it through the top. It's weighted at the bottom, so it'll use gravity to push it into it, and kind of ensure that it's not caught on this or on the little screw there, and then turn it upside down so that then I can grab the other end of it and gently, ensuring that it's not caught at the bottom or at the top even, pull it through. I do this upside down, but it's not as easy when you sat down. There you go, you pull through your saxophone. If you've got a pad saver, this is where you would stick this in and then put your saxophone away, ensuring that you're holding it with the bell where possible. So stick that away. Getting on to this part of the saxophone, you could pull through the neck with one of these. I would definitely think about doing that because you don't want any build up of anything nasty in there. But taking these apart, again, being careful not to touch the top of the reed. Unscrew it. You might get a bit of condensation flying out there from where you're playing. Again, make sure it's not caught on anything. Dangle it through until it comes out, if it wants to. There we go. Give it a quick pull, but making sure it's not caught on anything. There you go, all nice and clean. Stick that in your case. And then your mouthpiece, as mentioned, unscrew. Gently take off that ligature, ensuring not to touch the top of the reed. Reed comes off. Reed in the case. And then your mouthpiece, you could pull through with it. Some people are a little bit against doing that. You might have a little bit of kind of tissue or something in a cleaning kit. You could just wipe off with that. You could pull through it. It's a bit of a your own preference there. I sometimes will pull through it, but giving a little bit of clean every so often will not hurt. So stick that away. You might put your ligature on and the cap on whilst it's kind of in its case. Just keep everything together. Stick that away, close your case, and you're sorted. So, thank you for watching this video on how to put together your saxophone and how to put the reed on the saxophone. I really appreciate it if you would subscribe, and if you can like this video if it was any help. Feel free to contact me at www.emma-music.co.uk. You've got any other queries, and happy practicing and happy saxophone playing. All right, see you later.